She worked as a cleaner in a large, upscale restaurant. Every night, after her shift ended, she quietly asked for leftover food. No one knew where she went or why she never stayed long. But one night, her wealthy boss decided to follow her, and what he discovered brought tears to his eyes. In Abuja, a grand restaurant named the Golden Plate stood tall, its glass walls gleaming under the sun. Expensive cars lined up outside daily, while inside, the city's elite dined in luxury. The owner, Mr. William, often called Sir Will, was a man of great wealth. Always dressed in spotless suits with shoes that reflected light like mirrors, he carried himself with quiet authority. Each morning, as he entered the restaurant, the staff greeted him respectfully. He'd simply nod and say, "Carry on." Mr. William owned a sleek black SUV and employed over 50 workers, chefs, servers, and cleaners. Everything about the Golden Plate spoke of wealth and success. But beneath all that grandeur, something quietly unusual was unfolding. One quiet night, long after the customers had gone and most of the staff had left, Mr. William stepped out of his office. He looked worn out, pulling his tie loose as he made his way to the parking lot. He pressed his car key, and his SUV responded with a familiar beep. But just then, he noticed someone standing near his car, not too close, yet not far. She wore the familiar brown and gold uniform of the restaurant. Her head was bowed, hands clasped in front of her. Mr. William paused, narrowing his eyes. "Who is that?" he muttered to himself. Only a few cleaners were still around. The woman didn't move. It felt unusual. He approached her slowly, the air tense around them. As he got closer, she looked up for a second, then quickly looked down again. "You work in cleaning, right?" he asked. "Yes, sir," she replied softly. "My name is Emma." Her posture was nervous, her voice barely above a whisper. Mr. William studied her for a moment. "So, why are you standing by my car?" he asked. Emma bit her lip, then exhaled slowly. "Please, sir. I wanted to ask for a favor." He stayed quiet, expecting her to ask for money or make a complaint. "Can I take some leftover food home?" she asked, still not meeting his gaze. He blinked, surprised. "Just leftover food?" She nodded. "Yes, sir. If there's any." A silence followed, deep and heavy. He looked at her again. Her shoes were worn out. Her face looked drained. Her voice wasn't weak, but tired. "Okay," he said quietly. "Thank you, sir," she whispered and hurried back inside. He remained by his car, unmoving. Something about her request struck a nerve. He got into the SUV but didn't start it. Instead, he watched the kitchen door, his thoughts circling. Why ask for food? Not money. Not help. Just food. Her voice echoed in his mind, gentle, but full of something unspoken. Her eyes had a weight to them, as if they held back years of silent pain. He checked his watch. Almost 10 p.m. Still, he didn't leave. He needed to know more. Roughly 10 minutes passed. Then the door opened. Emma stepped out with 2 small nylon bags. They didn't seem heavy. Holding them close, she started walking briskly. Mr. William lowered himself in the seat. Once she was far enough, he turned the key slowly, keeping the lights off for a moment. Then he followed, maintaining a safe distance, quiet enough not to be noticed. She walked quickly, like she was in a hurry. After a while, she boarded a small yellow bus. Without hesitation, Mr. William joined the road and trailed the bus. The ride was bumpy, the roads uneven, street lights flickering or dead. Yet he stayed close, eyes fixed ahead. Nearly half an hour later, the bus stopped. Emma stepped down carefully, still holding her bags. Without looking around, she walked into a narrow, dusty path off the main road. Mr. William parked his car far behind and switched off the engine. He stepped out quietly and looked ahead. There was nothing beautiful to see. No shops, no fine houses, no cars. The place was silent and dark. Slowly, he moved closer. Emma approached an old, dilapidated building. Its walls were cracked, the roof sagging, and the windows shattered. Mr. William froze, staring at the structure. "This is her home," he whispered, disbelief filling his voice. It was hard to accept. This was not a home but a place people would want to escape. Taking a deep breath, he stepped back, his heart heavy with feelings he couldn't explain. Hidden in the shadows, he continued watching the worn building. Suddenly, the creaking door swung open. Two small girls ran out, barefoot and laughing, leaping into Emma's arms. "Mommy!" the first called out joyfully. "Mommy, you came back," said the second. Emma dropped the nylon bag and hugged them tightly. Her smile was warm, yet her eyes betrayed exhaustion. She bent down, planting gentle kisses on their foreheads. "I'm here, my darlings," she whispered softly. "I brought something for you." From his hidden spot, Mr. William took in the scene. His heart raced. She had children. Lightly, he placed a hand over his chest. Emma held their hands and led them back inside the broken house. Through the shattered window, he watched as she sat the girls on a mat and opened the nylon bag. Inside were leftovers, a piece of chicken and some jollof rice. She carefully divided the food in two and placed the portions on small plates. The girls eagerly grabbed their plates and ate quickly, their faces bright despite the sparse meal. Emma did not eat. She sat quietly on the bare floor, smiling at them. Mr. William blinked, feeling a heavy weight on his chest. He looked between the food and Emma. She brought food home, yet never ate herself. Slowly, he shook his head. Something inside him began to shift. He stepped away from the window, standing silently in the darkness. Tears welled up and he turned back to the broken house, watching Emma's gentle smile as the children ate. His heart ached sharply. Looking up at the night sky, he whispered, "She only took food for her children, she didn't eat at all." Wiping his tears, his hands trembled. The woman he had seen merely as a worker was now the cause of his heavy heart. He glanced at the ruined building again, then down at his polished shoes. He no longer felt wealthy, only sorrowful. Slowly, Mr. William returned to his car. The street was quiet except for the soft chirping of crickets. He opened the door and sat inside but did not start the engine. Lost in thought, his eyes remained wet. Staring at the steering wheel, he whispered, "I have to do something. I can't leave her like this." After some moments, he turned on the ignition. The headlights illuminated the road as he drove away, stealing one last look at the house through his rearview mirror. That night, he went home but found no rest. Tossing and turning in bed, his mind replayed images of Emma, her two daughters, and the small piece of chicken. The next morning dawned slowly. Emma awoke early and gazed fondly at her two sleeping girls curled on the mat. She smiled, brushing their hair gently. "Time to wake up, my angels," she whispered. The girls opened their eyes. "Mommy, are we going to school today?" one asked. "Yes, my love. Let's get ready." Emma helped them up and carried a small bucket outside. She filled a bowl with water and bathed them quickly, one after the other. She dried their skin tenderly with a small towel. Next, she brought out their tiny school uniforms and dressed them carefully. Combing their hair, she tied it neatly into two ponytails. From the nylon bag left from the night before, only a small portion of rice remained, just enough for the two children. Heating it gently on a small gas stove, she divided it between two plastic plates and placed them before the girls. "Eat this before we go," she said softly. The children sat quietly, eating with crossed legs on the floor. Emma watched, smiling, but her eyes seemed distant, lost in thought. After they finished, she packed their books into their bags and gave each a small bottle of water. Together, they stepped outside. The sun brightened as they walked slowly to a nearby community school. Though the school was modest, with no gate and weathered walls, the girls appeared happy. Emma knelt down, pulling them close. "Be good, my girls," she said, kissing their foreheads. "I'll be back soon." The children waved as they ran inside. Emma lingered a moment, then turned away. It was time to get to work. At the restaurant, she changed into her uniform, tied her apron, and joined the other cleaners. She swept the floor swiftly, mopped under the chairs, and polished every table until it gleamed. Her hands moved with purpose. She didn't seem tired or sad. Instead, she smiled at her co-workers. That morning, Mr. Williams sat quietly in his office, staring out the window but not really seeing anything. His thoughts were still with Emma and her two little girls. He picked up the phone and called the HR manager in. "Good morning, sir," the HR manager greeted. Mr. Williams' voice was calm yet firm. "We need to do better," he said. "Sir, about our workers?" the HR manager asked. "Some of them are really struggling," Mr. William replied. The room fell silent. Then he added, "Increase their pay, starting this month. Make sure no one goes home hungry." "Yes, sir," the HR manager responded promptly and left the office. Leaning back in his chair, Mr. William closed his eyes. Emma's image returned to his mind, sitting on the floor, smiling at her children while they ate. Opening his eyes, he whispered, "She didn't even eat." Days went by. Emma continued coming to work early, cleaning the floors carefully and wiping every table as if it belonged to her. She was never late, never frowning, never asking for anything beyond leftover food. Every evening when the restaurant closed, she quietly approached the back door, knocking softly to ask the kitchen staff, "Is there any leftover food today?" Sometimes it was just a small portion of rice, but she never complained. Instead, she smiled and said, "Thank you," packed it into her nylon bag, and left. Mr. William watched from a distance. He didn't speak to her yet. He only observed and listened. Each day, his heart grew heavier, and each night he wondered, how many others are like her? One morning, as Emma cleaned the tables, the head cook approached. "The boss wants to see you," he said. Emma looked up, her heart racing. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked softly. The cook shook his head. "I don't know. Just go see him." Wiping her hands on her apron, Emma walked slowly to Mr. Williams' office and knocked gently. "Come in," he invited. She opened the door and stepped inside, nervous. "Good morning, sir," she said quietly. "Sit down, Emma," he said kindly. She lowered herself onto the chair, uncertain about what was coming. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then Mr. Williams spoke gently. "Emma, I followed you one night." Emma's eyes widened in surprise. "You followed me?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "I saw where you live. I saw your two little girls." Emma looked down, hands trembling, tears welling up. She wiped her face quickly. "I didn't mean to do anything wrong," she whispered. "I was just trying to feed my children." Mr. Williams shook his head. "You did nothing wrong," he assured her. "You are a good mother. You are strong. You work very hard." Emma couldn't speak. Tears silently ran down her cheeks. Then he said, "I want to help you." Emma looked up, eyes full of tears. The next day, Mr. William called Emma to his office again. She entered slowly, still unsure of what to expect. I have good news for you, he said with a smile. He handed her a piece of paper. Emma studied it carefully. It was a promotion to personal assistant to the CEO. Confused, she looked at him. You are now my personal assistant, Mr. William explained. You will earn a better salary from now on. Emma covered her mouth with her hands, tears spilling once more. That's not all, he continued, standing and picking up a brown envelope from his desk. I bought a small apartment for you and your children. It's not much, but it's decent, clean and safe. Emma's hand shook. She could hardly believe what she was hearing. You and your girls will no longer sleep on the floor, he added. There's water, electricity, and enough space for them to study and rest well. Emma placed both hands on her chest. Sir, is this really for me? He nodded slowly. You deserve more, Emma. You're a good mother. You work hard and never complain. He smiled warmly. I will also enroll them in a better school. And from now on, you won't have to ask for food. Emma fell to her knees, tears streaming like a river. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say, she cried. Mr. William smiled kindly. He opened his drawer and pulled out a small white envelope. Take this, he said. Use it to buy something nice for dinner tonight. Emma took the envelope with both hands and held it close to her chest. God bless you, sir, she whispered through her tears. You deserve it, Emma, he said. That night, the small room smelled different, sweet, like joy. Emma stood by the stove, gently stirring a pot of jollof rice with Royale chicken. The two girls sat on a mat, eyes wide with anticipation. Mommy, you bought a lot of chicken, the younger one exclaimed. Emma turned and smiled. Yes, my love. Today we eat well. When the food was ready, she served 3 plates. The girls grabbed theirs and sat down eagerly, not wasting a second before digging in. This is the best food ever, the older girl said, chewing quickly. It tastes like heaven, added the younger, mouth full. Emma sat close, watching quietly with a smile. Tears filled her eyes but didn't fall. For the first time in a long while, she saw her children eat and laugh without worry, and that was enough. The next morning, something unexpected happened. A shiny black car stopped in front of their building. Emma stepped outside holding the girls' school bags, staring at the vehicle in surprise. The driver stepped out and smiled. Good morning, madam. Mr. William sent me. I'm here to take you to your new home. Emma froze for a moment, then turned to her daughters. Get your things, she said, voice trembling. We're moving. They all climbed into the car together. The ride was quiet, but their hearts overflowed with joy. When they arrived, the girls jumped out and ran to the front door. The house was clean, freshly painted, with open windows. Inside, there were chairs, a tidy kitchen, and soft beds. The girls explored every room, shouting happily, Mommy, we have our own beds. Look at the kitchen. We don't have to sleep on the mat anymore. Emma stood in the center of the room, slowly taking it all in. Then she sat down on one of the new chairs and whispered, Thank you, God. Thank you. Her journey wasn't over, but something new had begun, with hope. Sitting quietly in the peaceful living room, Emma watched her daughters play with pillows on the floor, laughing. She smiled, still amazed that this was truly her new home. Looking up at the ceiling, she whispered again, God, I thank you. I really thank you. Just then, her phone rang. The screen showed Mr. William's name. Her heart raced briefly as she answered. Good morning, sir, she said softly. Emma, his voice came through. I just wanted to check on you and your girls. We're fine, sir. Thank you again for everything, she replied. There was a pause before he said, "Emma, don't come to work today." Her eyes widened. "Sir." "Take the day off," he said kindly. "Enjoy your new home. Cook something sweet. Spend time with your daughters. Today is for you." Emma placed her hand on her chest. "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You've earned it, Emma," he added warmly. The call ended. Emma held the phone close to her heart and stood up, heading to the shiny, clean kitchen. Opening a cupboard, she pulled out rice and fresh vegetables. As she cooked, the girls entered, still smiling. "Mommy, what are you making?" one asked. Emma looked at them lovingly. "Our first meal in this house," she said softly. Reaching out, she took their small hands in hers. "Before we eat," Emma said, "let's thank God again." The girls nodded. Closing their eyes, together they prayed with simple words and full hearts. Their journey had been difficult, but a new life had begun, one founded on faith, kindness, and love. Dear viewer, this story reminds us that kindness can change lives. Sometimes, the person quietly working beside you is fighting battles you cannot see. Emma didn't beg or steal. She worked hard, prayed, and never gave up, even when life was tough. And Mr. William chose to see her and help. That changed everything. The lesson is clear. If you can help someone, please do. One small act of kindness can brighten an entire family's world. What did you learn from this story? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them. And guess what? Another interesting story is coming soon, so please subscribe and turn on notifications to be the first to watch it. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and share it with your friends and loved ones. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it.